Hello, this is The Full Circle, a show where we link songs together with the last song linking back to the first song, hence completing the full circle. This week, I'm doing an album review and I am reviewing Red Hot Chili Peppers by The Way.
The Full Circle with DC.
Now, Red Hot Chili Peppers are one of my favorite bands of all time. I grew up just absolutely loving them. It was a friend of mine from school who actually got me into them by lending me his greatest hits album that he had. And I listened to it and I was just like blown away. I didn't realize how many amazing songs they had. And that was technically the first ever things I'd heard of Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now, I'm not reviewing the greatest hits album because, controversially or not, I don't know, I don't think greatest hits album is a proper album, quote unquote. So the first album that I heard of theirs from start to finish was By the Way, which I bought at HMV. And I remember putting it straight on and just listening to it and just being like, whoa. I'd already heard a lot of the singles. Obviously, I heard them on the greatest hits, although there was some on there that you're like, oh, how did that not make it? And just so good. So good. My initial feelings of By the Way is that I think it's a very different album for them. A little bit, quite a bit more melodic, far less funk. And I think, unfortunately, that led to Flea being a bit upset because John Frusciante was the lead writer. Because interestingly, obviously, a lot of people who've listened to By the Way in Stadium Arcadium had a lot of guitar solos, and a lot of people feel that's almost like, the John Frusciante show. Whereas By the Way was written by John Frusciante and he'd taken a lead in most of the melodies, and you can hear his harmonies and essentially every song. So I think it's definitely a very different album for them, and I think an album that just works so well at that time. And I think Anthony Kiedis has said this in previous interviews, that it was a very British album, catered to the British fan base in particular. And I completely agree. People that weren't fans of Red Hot Chili Peppers in general, I saw a lot of them have copies of By the Way or playing songs from By the Way. And I think fair play. I think it is a very British-esque album of sorts. So 16 songs on this album. So the way I want to do it, because obviously this album came out in 2002, so it's been 24 years now. Wow, time has flown. But I don't want to look at it through nostalgia. I want to look at it how I heard it at that time. So the way I would have heard it at that time is going to be different to how I hear it now. So I'm going to give you my first impressions of how it sounded to me when I first heard it then. So let's go track by track. So the first one, By the Way. What a way to start the album. The classic Red Hot Chili Peppers style with the chorus, rap, chorus, rap, chorus, rap. Just so good. An incredible bass solo as well. Love playing that one on Rock Band. If you've ever played Rock Band, there's a fair few Red Hot Chili Peppers song, and on By the Way, it has this bass solo, and it is just so hard, so good as well, though. What a tune. Fun fact, it's their joint highest charting song in the UK, charted at number 2 on the UK single chart. Let me know in the comments if you know the other song that also charted 2 in the UK. Number 2, Universally Speaking. Now this one, not gonna lie, I'm just not that fussed about. I know that's, again, my opinions might be like, oh, I completely agree with you, or gonna be like, how dare you even say that, and you're turning the video off right now. But I think it's one of those songs where I get it. It's a nice melody, I guess, and it's definitely gonna be a fave for some. Just for me, I think it just wasn't really my thing. And even now, even listening back to it years later, and even to this day, it's probably one of my lesser favorite songs on the album. Then we go to This Is the Place. It's the one that the bass is pretty much the same from start to finish, and you never hear that on a Red Hot Chili Peppers album. Obviously, Red Hot Chili Peppers albums are very bass orientated, and I think that was interesting that they went for that. I think at the time, I thought it was decent, and I think it's really grown on me now. So I think when I first heard it, I was like, "Yeah, this is pretty good. This is decent," and I quite liked it. And then we move on to Dosed, the track number 4, and I thought this one was really, really good. I think it's 4 layered guitars, like, whoa. I mean, there's a reason why they never properly did it live, and they only did it live when they had Josh in the band, Josh Klinghoffer, who I believe a fan was unfortunately had the terminal illness, and they asked Josh and the band if they would perform Dose live, and that is what led to them performing Dose live. So check out that version. I think Josh does a really, really good job of it, regardless of Flea describing him as a as to do cover songs, quote unquote. I thought he did a really, really good job. And I don't think John's going to be doing Dose anytime soon, is he? Let's be honest. Love that song. I love John's. His vocals are so strong in that song. It's so good. Oh, cheeky little run there. And he his solos as well. I think that's just a great song. An absolutely epic song. And then Don't Forget Me, very bass driven to begin with. One of their slower-ish ones. And I think at the time, because it was one of their slower ones, I wasn't super fussed about it. But now it's really grown on me. I think it's one of the better songs on By the Way. But I think at that time I was a bit like, not entirely sure. Yeah, okay-ish. And then the Zephyr song, which was released as a single, obviously with By the Way, Universally Speaking, and Can't Stop the next track. And the video was like a kaleidoscope, I believe. People are going to be like, why not kaleidoscope's this? But apologies if I got that wrong. Let me know if I've got that wrong and let me know what it is. But I believe it was a kaleidoscope, and yeah, just a nice song, wasn't it? Like the electronic drums, the drum machine, and then I really like the solo, not the outro solo, but the solo before, the guitar solo before. That was really, really good before the final chorus. Really, really, really great song. And then we've got what probably is one of their best songs of all time, Can't Stop. What a music video, what a tune, what a build up. Oh my goodness. Classic Red Hot Chili Peppers with the rapped slash semi-song verses, John's harmonies in the background, big chorus, massive guitar solos. What a tune. And to this day, I don't understand how it did not make their greatest hits. How did that not make their greatest hits, but Breaking the Girl did? I'm sorry, but that is actually offensive to the song Can't Stop. It's offensive. You have offended the song Can't Stop to say that it's not even on the greatest hits, and there's other songs that are way inferior to it that are on the greatest hits. Absolute ridiculous move. But anyway, enough about offending Can't Stop. Just an incredible song. Love that song. Ah, definitely one of my favorite songs of theirs, if not my favorite song of theirs. And then track 8, I Could Die For You. And I've always actually said this as not a joke, but actually pretty serious. I think it took me 20 years for that song to grow on me. I think when I first heard it, I wasn't that fussed about it. And then over time, just hearing John's voice again in the choruses, especially after the first chorus, because the first chorus is primarily Anthony, and then hearing that build up, it's one of those songs where I think at the age I heard the album, probably again, not something I'm that interested in. And then as I've grown older, maybe my tastes have become a bit quote unquote softer. I think I Could Die For You is one of the best songs on the album now. But at that time, again, similar to Universally Speaking, I just wasn't that fussed about. And then we got Midnight. Midnight starts off with some incredible violins, don't they? Like, just incredible. I do think the song is okay. That's the way I describe it. I don't think it's something special. I know some people would be like, whoa, but I don't think it's something special. But I think the violins and just the cool music afterwards makes it a pretty cool song. And I think it's an okay song. And I still feel that way about it. But again, decent. And high expectations for Red Hot Chili Peppers, high bar. Their songs are always so good. So that's just sort of like me comparing it to how I felt about the rest of the songs as well. Then we're on to Throw Away Your Television, probably the most funkiest song on the album. That is such a tune. Throw away your television, it's a repeat. Oh, and the guitars, like the guitars just stepping in and a little twang as well on the guitars. Ah, absolute tune. And then the synth bit, or like I think it must be part of the guitar, right? But it's like I can't even do it. It's like that's so bad, I know, but so so good. Throw away your television, an absolute tune. That one really, really struck me from the beginning as well. Absolute tune. And then we've got Cabron, which I don't, is that a swear? I apologize if it is actually. But that is another song. I don't say it once. Um, yeah, really, really decent-ish song. I don't mind it. I always thought it was from an advert. When I was growing up, I was like, I swear I've heard it on an advert, but I might be wrong. If anyone knows this, was it on an advert? If it was, let me know. Because I really was convinced it was. Again, okay. And then we've got Tear. I think this one's not a good song, and I still stand by that. And I think it doesn't help when the lyrics rhyme tear with solitaire. When it starts with that, this is my time, this is my tear. I can see clearly this is not the place to play solitaire. Sorry if I've got that wrong. But rhyming tear and solitaire to begin with, just already to me, just sets the tone of being like, I don't know how I feel about this song. And I still to this day don't like their song. Don't like that one. They've always, in my opinion, I feel like they've always got one song which I think I could take or leave from, oh, at least one song I could take or leave from their album. They just had that. For Californication, which I'll probably do a review at some point, is Porcelain. And that again is going to really upset some people, and I'm sorry. But they just had a knack of doing that, didn't they? And they had so many B-sides. So many incredible B-sides from the By the Way era. They had Time, Body of Water, Rivers of Avalon. Check them out because, oh my goodness, so good. But they put Tear, rhyming tear and solitaire together. And then we've got On Mercury, which is a sort of ska-like song. And at the time, again, thought, yeah, this is cool, like it. I think, again, I thought it was okay at the time. Now it's really grown on me. I think that's a really, really good song. I really, really like that song. So yeah, so On Mercury, another top song. And then we go on to what I think is one of their best non-singles off the album, and maybe one of their best non-singles of all time, Minor Thing. I love that song. I absolutely loved it when I first heard it, and I just thought, oh my goodness, this is so good. Just so catchy. I changed the key from C to D. You see, to me, it's just a minor thing, yo. He knows everything. I don't really get the meaning of the song. I'm sure some people will interpret it in different ways, but it's just one of those tunes. And then when John Frusciante's solo comes in, just that 10-second solo, oh my goodness, so good. And I was like, this probably is what inspired him to make those solos for Stadium Arcadium, because it's just such an incredible solo. And then, yeah, that ends with a great outro. So a top song. And I always ask guests, would you rather listen to one song forever or any song but one time only? And whenever they ask me what, if I were to listen to one song forever, what song would that be? I always feel like Minor Thing is that song, because it just puts a smile on my face every time it comes on my random shuffle playlist, and I never skip it. Never ever skip it. So good. And then we've got Warm Tape. Shiver for Me Girl. I mean, I don't know, a bit of an odd one, isn't it? I don't dislike it. I don't think it's at the level of Tear. I don't think it's, I prefer it more than Universally Speaking. I just think, again, if they decided not to put that one on the album, I'd have been like, yeah, fair enough. And then last but not least, Venice Queen, a tribute song to Gloria, who they knew. I think they were from Italy. Yeah, that makes sense. Venice Queen. And they unfortunately passed away during that time. And Anthony wrote a song about her. Incredible build up. I think it's essentially 2 or 3 songs in one. So good. I'm going to give a shout out to a couple of people. I'm going to give a shout out to Kian, boom, 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 and also to Phil Creswell, boom, 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 boom. Both of them have been on the Full Circle before, and both of them are massive Red Hot Chili Peppers fans. They always thought and think to this day, I believe, that when John Frusciante's saying some like shouting out some words at the end, they think he's going bye, 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 bye. I don't think that's what he's saying, but check it out. Check out that bit at the end. Check out the last couple of minutes and tell me, do you think that John Frusciante is also saying bye at the end? Bye bye. Or do you think he's saying something else? Let me know in the comments what you think he's saying. I think it's a great way to end the album. Incredible way to end the album. So for me, I really do like By the Way. Yes, there's 2 or 3 songs there that I think just aren't of interest to me as they were. Do I think it's their best album? No, I don't. I think their best album is Blood Sugar, which will definitely get a review. But I think it's definitely I mean, they've got so many albums. It is top 5, isn't it? It is a top 5 album. Californication to By the Way to Stadium Arcadium. What an incredible 3 album combination. You're not going to get many bands doing that. Incredible 3 album combination that is. Now, if I were to create a full circle, i.e., my 5 favorite songs, creating the full circle, I think I'd start with, in album order, I think I'd start with By the Way as number 1. And then the second song I'd go for Dozed. And then the third song I'd go for Can't Stop. Then I would go for Minor Thing. And then I would go for Venice Queen. Very close between Fur Radio Television and Venice Queen. Both of those could have been swapped. But I think on balance, that's the way I would do it. I would put Venice Queen over Fur Radio Television. And that would be my full circle for Red Hot Chili Peppers, By the Way. Hence completing the full circle. Yay! Oh, thank you so much for checking out this album review. And please let me know, do you agree with my choices of the full circle? What are your favorite songs from it? What are your less favorite songs from it? Do you think that my opinions here are absolutely ridiculous? Or you're like, do you know what? I can see where you're coming from. Or do you completely agree? Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment or send me a postcard. Probably easier to leave a comment though, because I haven't given my address for you to send a postcard. Thank you so much for checking this out. Just remember this. Stay safe. Don't eat beef.